On your daughter. The work that stuff in the trunk. As of now I have charge to also properly teach to it. What can be ready for anesthetic is to carry out its trunk from here and to roll. First time test your skills. Tonight, you're in the Tay boarding to between 9 and 20 minutes of down train. Keep in advance to buy a ticket to Nagoya. To leave the hotel in the trunk in one cane. Trunk is allowed and trusts as baggage. Hotel no ride the train by postponed to porter. In other words, you're so crowded I think I used to go to Nagoya. I'm the real. It would get off the course in the next S station. No, of course trunk also asked the conductor to say or something began to think of urgent business. Cuz unloaded in the S station. Although it is a little arduous work. It's not the anti-Hama. Then, from the S station, also riding in the car together in trunk, I turn back to Tokyo. The ride up to the M Hotel is now. Then select the number 1 choice of the room. With a face like Teiyu somewhere in the rich. Do I long as it to American arrogant. I also, tomorrow is Suhara draw here. Because I'm going to meet with the Anta at the M Hotel. How? The plan. Yeah, that is interesting But, I wonder if alright to pretend that eating such a person. My one person, I lonely little bit. Ho 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 ho. The habit was to murder. I'll show you a scared like your son. Okay. Because evil sounds not sneaky. That defeats to openly take the plunge. Number 1 safety Nandawa, and, if bail event, and through the luggage not you do Ichi Mazuraka. Not if anything be compared to murder. Quote, but you, madam also do not go to a cane. I is gonna do if they're teamed up to Koguro Akechi and 4 examples. Until Anta arrive to the other party. If release the eye from him. Not knowing or become anything. I can nuisance of the detectives it is the what argument and because the role of this person is then carried the trunk. Might be much more difficult. Quote, oh, I see. I that it is as mon that I worry. But I will keep you coming surely to the M Hotel as tomorrow morning. If in between them, and daughter is awake the eye of the trunk once you have even started to rampage in the middle. Because the eye is not even addressed. Quote, I know ailing mind to it. Well, this person is fine. I guess that there is a fool in there. On the daughter was bitten by a gag. It keeps tied to strict hands and feet. When the anesthetic has shark. Of course. Is that to make a voice? Not pumpkin dad hamstrung. I guess I'm head today is somehow. Also because it. Madam I because show with Anna it. From now. If only I want you to forgive me. I am young CI. Still chest is pounding. Lol lol. By the way, after a fall in the M Hotel, comb do you become mean by that? Quote, then first, I secret in secret. Henchman no. Not like mon to hear such a thing. But in your head of instruction. Do I long to follow in silence? In the song's arrangements of daughter kidnapping is the stipulated without falling. Woman thief and detective. That evening, a spacious common room of the hotel was crowded with people who spend the moments after dinner. Cigarette and chat. Radio was installed in one corner of the room had muttered the evening news. And leaning too deeply into the cushion, the gentleman that greatly expanded the evening in front of the face seemed even here there also. From among the foreign gang surrounded the round table. The voice of the American people seems lady had heard shrill in their customers. It could be divided at the sight of Sane's show by Waze and his daughter. To yellowish flashy stripes, summons of the kimono. Tighten the shiny band of gold. Of Sane, who came a coat of orange color. Is a big figures in the year. It seemed to stand very high in kimono less this hall. Not just clothes. Osaka wind was unfussy. To the more fair-skinned face passing. Rishiku myopia, that the borderless eyes are multiplied by the root. It was not placed is not drawn the exceptional human eye. Iwasa's dad. The shaved head of Hanjiro. No beard to Akara face. But the person seems large merchant stout. He was like, so that even in the sentinel of the daughter, while watching her every move, the later had Sakemawashi, this time of the trip, in addition to the commercial, because some prominent family in the marriage of this city is lacking unity. But he was accompanied by Sine for pulling alignment, also folded, just for the past half a month of starting folding. Iway said, he had been suffering almost daily to be delivered as, in the letter of Tenacity Subcommittee Crime prior notice, I may leave wary of affairs of the daughter, or plotting and trying to kidnap the daughter. There are horrible devil, that senses, once different complain, in Hisaki differently, had been or else he wrote horribly, in accordance with the increase in the number of letters. Kidnapping of the day was felt to come approaching day by day, at first, and would be mischief of someone, but had not applied to care, as the repeated, is getting Kimmy bad, finally was delivered to the police, but, squid police force as well. It was not possible to locate the originator of the communication sentence, which is not may of this. Enigmatic. The letter, of course, to was not the name of the sender as written. Postmark also or Osaka, or Kyoto, or Tokyo, was different each time, but there was a time like that, to have been hesitation to break into the promise of the Konka, the home mycom a nasty letter, because it was thought to be preferably try for a while away. Iway said to never travel the mind we decided to leave. In its place, they prepared carefully to be pigeon if there are things Manichi, or once know the extent of shop theft and ask the Tanami. To Koguro Akechi of private detective, protection of daughter it was in the ask that, but the detective was no less enthusiastic, and Kudanami the earnest ask of Iway said, during their stay, crowded, staying in the next room, had to get to this strange theft prevention mission. The Koguro Akechi is wrapped in elongated body in a black business suit, sitting in another corner of the sofa in the same hall, was still and beautiful lady of one of the black-dressed in couture. Talked something in a low voice. Wife, you why, in this incident, do you have such a deep interest? Detective was asked by quietly looked into the opponent's eye. Watakushi, of love reader of detective novels. Iway's his daughter to those that from I understand that the will, in like novels like such events, I have been attracted completely, and also your friendship to the famous Akechi's accustomed to. Watakushi, what? No, I feel like became even to the person in the story to myself. Kakui lady answered, the black-clothed woman precisely, that it is none other than our hero, Black Lizard. Must the reader is already guessed. She enthusiasts of jewelry. So was the relationship of Iway's and his acquaintance as a customer there from the fall in this hotel. Increased one so familiar. Is her social skills amazing? And as early as Sine to captivate. It was supposed to get along enough to be confided also to the secret of the inner ring. But, wife, reality of this world, you do not have 'em so novel ones. Also of this time, of something or I'm a bad boy. But the more you think that it is a prank. Detective looked really and mortar reluctant. But, you or Nasu walk you down the hallway to the large strange eagerly is not that you started to the work of the detective, the middle of the night. Or Nasu ask many things to boys of the hotel. Watakushi often propose. You are to such a thing, for you whether you started to care, you do not put in the corner. Akechi was looking at the beautiful face of staring and his wife to say the irony. Watakushi, which know what to do mischief or something. I do not think in any way. What with a sixth sense? No, I feel that way. You do not even go to the abuses not Nasara put your care. Did not lose his wife, while looking back a detective was Menhair in reply. No, thank you, but please feel easy. Now that I have with daughter is safe. Any Kyozoku, it is quite impossible that grazes my eye. Yeah, it is. I have your forces well as proposed. But, that, just now, of you will have seemed to somehow another way. Who is flying away from magic? Terrible guy such. So that he, oh, It will be fearless of the woman called what? She was in front of the detective of one generation. We praise in beauty herself. Lol lol, wife, it seems to be a large hango patronize of virtual bandits. Would you like to one bet? A catchy Rishiku joke was a strange proposal. Well, there will I is a nice bet. Nanti the Agachi-san in betting. Watakushi. Or let's bet Nicholas you have the number one important. Lol lol, I wife seems to be serious. So, if there is such thing as if daughter and I failed is kidnapped. Well, if you bet what that way it does not take you bet the profession? That detective, Watakushi, the jewelry as long as you have. I think I can bet everything. It tend located in the leisure madam. It was the words can take if you take as well as crazy whim. But in the back, to the detective, that the fighting spirit, such as burning a woman thief had been hidden. Akechi Azur would have obtained enlightenment. It is interesting. In other words, not I will you say in once you out of business if you lose. Woman you have, though from life I rasharu throwing completely the second of jewelry. Though serving as my man. Whatever profession about the it is that. Akechi did not even lose. Ho 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 I have been promised in. Watakushi, their shake try to go out of business the Akechi-san. Yes, I promised. I also let's look forward to your numerous of jewelry comes crowded rolling. Lol lol, then. A joke has become to what seems unawares seriously. Just, to the place where the tremendous consultation was made up. Or not no. Approaching the question Sane, I was smiling to put the voice. Well, you too, what the no inasu, whispering talk. I also do not kudasara put to your fellow. Although she was in the guise Rishiku or else ambitious. It was not possible to hide the drift's shadow of where I wonder anxiety to the complexion. Oh, daughter. Come on. Please put you here. I Mr. Akechi is no way boring. Gunai was Irish I spilled. I mean, what did that? We're determined for someone of mischief Midori Kawa wife, as carrying the Sane, said no to heart care cheaper. To there came also Iway said, the troop will be in 4 people. But everyone is in the incident aligned care began for Azu. Small talk with no offense. As a natural momentum, Mr. Iway's is a catchy detective. Midori Kawa Mr. Mrs. Sane. A man is a man. A woman and a woman. The conversation one is divided into 2. One double role. Before long, one and the pair got up between women. Left after a man who long talk. The between the halls of the chairs. Side by side, shoulder to even walk. And began to walk and soon. And a black silk dress and orange coat is. In addition to that in contrast that stand out. 2 people back cuckoo also. Hair in the form also. Even around, looked almost the same. Will there no age to beauty? Midori Kawa Mrs. Hertz 30 is. Tomo Shiriba, like a little girl innocent. There may appear youthful. 2 people, without even invites from both. Had unawares out sliding the hall. Walking down the hallway toward the stairs. Miss? Do not take your deviation to me of the room a little. A doll that I mentioned yesterday. I will show you. Well, the few Irish I bring here. You want to look. Always know I have never been away. Cute as me of slavery thing. Oh, and the so-called puppet of Midori Kawa wife. Would be nothing on earth. Sane-san but did not notice any. Is not really strange epithet say, I cute slaves. Speaking of slaves, the reader is immediately Mr. Kensaku Yamakawa of Junchan. Or would not do still remember that it was a slave of the wife. Midori Kawa wife of the room is downstairs. Sane our room was on the 2nd floor. They had been for a while hesitant in climbing port of the stairs. Supposed to finally go to the wife of the room. Went on as it is the hallway. Now please enter your. When I arrived in the room, Mrs. opened the door, he urged the Sane. Oh, no palm in here unlike. Your room is no you do not have 23 no. It was the street at all. 24 numbers are visible on top of the door. In other words, there was a next room of Kensaku Yamakawa's room of Mrs. Pugilistica of that murderer. When dispensed early dinner. Back as in this room run away. Hide themselves. Or not supposed waiting for Nokuru at that time. There are gauze soaked with anesthetic. Coffin no better than the trunk. Or not should have waiting a victim. Sane is not unreasonable also was hesitant. Insects were known. The sight of hell that would happen in the next one moment. Its subconscious told him also sensitive. But Midorikawa wife is ignorant. No, I do not Embrata. Here I is eye of the room. Now please enter your early na. The saying, so as to embrace the Sane's shoulder. I hadn't so reckon in the door. When two people of the figure disappears. The door also was gone and perfect. Not only it was gone. To be strange is an even sound turning the tick and key. At the same time, on the other side of the door, such as pressed against something. There is a faint but I heard a really heartbreaking moan. A moment, but in the room was quiet as became totally empty. Eventually, voice whispering of Boso and human. Busy walking, liaoning footsteps, such as something of a hit sound, had been followed as much as a little 5 minutes. If it also subsided, and the sign of again turning the key. The door opens to the details. Eyes white face multiplied by the roots. Except for the along the corridor. After having missed aim to not of nobody. Soon. And see that was Genwa the whole body out of the room. It is surprisingly rather than also Midorikawa wife. Was Sane I thought just to that has become the other trunk justified. No, not the case. Indeed Sane's the same hairstyle. You have the same eyes. The same clothes. But there was at the same coat. If you look well, there has been a place where different Dokakashira. Chest was too tension a little. Back even mood was high. Although then face even it was in. Really clever makeup. And also in Netu was the shape and the eyes of the hair. But the makeup looked one so plausible. People no matter how leftover not that of the face changes. It was only Midorikawa wife was a look-alike dressed in Mr. Sane. Even so, this sleight of pull-off disguised as a small 5 minutes only was herself proclaimed indeed a magician. So, what did you do? Sane poor is not any more doubt. Kidnapping plan of the woman thief as he is progressing smoothly. Sane is that I had been forced into the trunk. Looking at the place where Midorikawa wife has completely borrowed the dress. She is, as this morning Mrs. showed the sample, is the naked, fitted, gagged, tied the hands and feet. Miserable also. Trunk must have broken Ben in. So, I'll ask firmly. Midorikawa wife was garbled in Sane-san. And whisper while closing the door. A thick man's voice from within. Yeah, okay, answered it Mr. Kensaku Yamakawa of Junchan. Mrs. suffer a wrapping cloth wrap bulky something under his arm. While avoiding the remains human eye she suffer from it. Climbed the stairs. Arrived to Iway's room. And try to peek in along. Mr. as expected Iway's has not yet returned. He was not long talking in the halls of the downstairs Koguro Akechi. There is a living room lined such as sofas and armchairs and also written a desk. And a bedroom. But had been in a 3-room more of the bus room. Mrs. once in the living room. Opened the drawer of even a desk to write. Take out the small box of Kurumochin of Iway's Mr. commonly used. And pulled out a tablet and swap with another tablet which has been prepared. Was housed in the restore drawer. Then, go into the bedroom of the next room. Turn off the Rui clear of the wall electric lamp. After only a small stand. Press the bell to the boy room. Shortly after the sound of the knock, one of the boy came in towards the living room. There's a and. Yeah, that. I from your father in the hall of the underlying come. I do not become any more good night. Do not please call. Mrs. Open the bedroom door to the details. The face in the shadows. In a position such that only the kimono is illuminated in electric lamp in the living room. I asked to imitate the voice of Sane to Takumi. When the boy knows how to leave, eventually, to the hectic footsteps, and came in, Iway said. Kai was the one person. Midori Kawa-san, and what was not a one came. I went to scold with Mrs. Suez to show only the kimono from the still dark bedroom. Mimicking the tone of Sune's the one so skillfully, replied in a small voice. Yes, because the thing that I feel bad. At the earlier staircase, they came back alone and goodbye in that person. Not me, I will another vacation. Your father is also in good night. Trouble, hey you are. I do not become alone. Or not you or Kakashi say so much they got to do when there is if things. My father banged believe that daughter, the voice of the bedroom, while applying to the easy chair in the living room. Doing the scolding. Yeah, so, I was referred to you, your father. From the bedroom, answer his innocent voice. To there, a catchy detective came in chasing after Iway said. Is Miss Goodnight? Yes, it seems to be now Chakuge. I have now somehow say that I feel bad. Then I also let's take off to the room. In. When Akechi is leave to the next room. Iway said in advance over the key to the door, but had written a letter for a while, and eventually removed the Kurumochan usual street drawer, drinking it in the water of the tabletop of Aquarius. To the bedroom it has been entered. Sune, the university, the mood is. While saying so, because he will likely come traveling around towards the corner of the bed. His wife was pretending to Sune, wearing a blanket until the chin, and turned away in the shadow of the electric lamp, remained behind direction, or else I answered ish bad mood. Yeah, I gonna say. I another's fine, because I'm me sleepy. Lol, you, that's strange is somehow today. The I are angry. But, Mr. Iways is deeply also not suspected, as unexpected defying the grumpy daughter. Wellbeat, such as singing in a low voice, and change clothes in pajamas. Went to bed. Mrs. had been swapped. Efficacy of strong sleep agent was work wonders. And I think he went to the pillow, to wail sleepiness. What no time to think. Had quickly fallen asleep and soundly. Then about 10 o'clock, an hour too much standing afternoon. The Koguro Akechi, who was reading in his room, heard around Oboshiki, the door of the next room, is surprised by the hectic sound of the knock. Looking out into the hallway, boy is one male and the telegram in hand. Had aroused Mr. Partition and Iways. What is it strange that there is no reply also so called? Akechi is suddenly feeling the anxiety. The boy in one cane, not maybe annoying the other room. He slapped violently door, and continues bashing, also strong of hypnotic sleep. What was prevented indeed, out of the room, faintly hear the sleepy voice of Iways said, What noisy? Please little open, I telegram has come. When Akechi shouted, finally to the sound of ticking and the key, the door is opened. Iways' sleepwear appearance, as that dying in or else sleepy, while rubbing the eye, open the telegram, had been blankly view. Damn it, also, it is a prank. In these kind of things Nanti cause niribana of people. And the tut-tut and handed it to the Akechi. Konya jewelry niji wo no tseho. But wording is simple. Its meaning was clear. IA threaten complain of examples of LL Sune's kidnapping is carried out and tonight 12 o'clock. Not the daughter, different situation. Akechi was asked to become a little serious tone. Okay, Sune has properly sleeping next to the eagle. Iway said approaching the door of the wobbling in the bedroom, while looking at the corner of the bed from there. Said as peace of mind. Akechi also from behind the saw, except with a long, but Mr. Sune is peeled beyond, was asleep and peacefully. Sune these days, so drink the same way every night. Kurumochan the eagle. We often fall asleep, and, because I had to say that the mood is unexpected good tonight, is poor. Let's not cause. Window do you have Shamit? It is also all right from the daytime. It yes to completely latches over. When I ways he says so, it had crawled up on top of the other bed. Akechi-san, I'm afraid, close the entrance. The key could you please keep Enta as entrusted. He and the other, and the sleepy is full. I troublesome even to apply the key. No, then that. I'll have some time in this room. Please leave. The bedroom door was open. That way, even if you become a good night window, no Edogawa looks from here from. Even invading, if beating someone window, you can see immediately when the window, even if with caution, because it's not the doorway to the other. Quote, Akechi is to once assumed was the case. It was merely faithful. He sat down as it is in a chair in the direction of the living room, with a fire and tobacco. It has been monitoring the staring bedroom. It has passed about half an hour, but nothing happens. Although seen except the bedroom when from time to time standing, Mr. Sane has continued to sleep in the same posture. Iways is also a Takaibiki. Oh, still awake and ear shy. I was in. Boy, because I have to say that strange telegram came a little while ago. Become a concern, but I've been up. Turned around surprised to voice. To the outside of the door that had been left open middle. Midorikawa wife was standing. Oh, but I came and has come. Wife is. Telegram. I'll be okay as long as this. I'm a ridiculous sentinels. So, after all up to this hotel, did you come? Telegram of Otakashi. While black clothes of the women said, I came in to open the door into the room. Once the reader gentleman is possibly. The author wrote a mistake. Ridiculous. Midorikawa Mrs. Garbled Sane. Are they not sleeping in the bed next to the Iways said? Is the same Midorikawa wife coming in from the hallway? Nanti. Unexpected maybe brought out a protest. Exactly the story. Not match the makes sense. Quote, but the author does not is never wrong. IA true both. Then, Midorikawa Mrs. I not only just one person in this world. Whether it is a mean, it will go revealed in accordance with the story progresses. Night of darkness. Sane no is a well good night. Midorikawa Mrs. tighten the door, sitting in front of the Akechi, while Yari looking towards the along and bedroom, asked in a low voice. Yeah, Akechi while something thinking, bluntly answer. Dad also there? No is a good night to go a show. Yeah, show Mr. Street. Father Iways was marked in the previous chapter as sleepy of anesthetics. While I asked the guard to Akechi entered the bed lined up next to the Sane. It had fell asleep. Is well. The sky reply only Nasu to Midorikawa Mrs. smiling brightly. What no you Irish I crowded thinking. Thus watch I have Rashi also. Is the worry still no? Quote, oh, you still, Akechi saw Mrs. barely looked up. So you I Rasharu to say that of the earlier bet. I turned to the defeated. The daughter is good if it is kidnapping. So you I Rasharu hope that outrageous. Once, he was also traded to the beautiful people of teasing. Nanti I hope the rough. I is bad. I ways is your misfortune. However, gonna I have sincerely worry. In, and now there wrote what is in the telegram. Quote, I called White beware tonight 12 o'clock. Akechi has answered amused look on her. Was looking at the clocks of the mantelpiece. The needle shows 50 minutes 10 o'clock. I'll think an hour or so later still. You will do much Irasharu happening here. There is no board. No, not at all. I must have been in Ulfuna's detective occupation. Such a dramatic moment. Will enjoy again and again in life. His wife what would you sleepy? Please rest if, well, it is quite your selfish. Dad I, gonna thank Tanoshu to you more. The woman I would be I. Ohama thing with no I to bet. Does not please let Atsuki I. Quote, in addition did you bet? So, to see if you're optional. Then, the strange men and women one and set, which had to type rear remained silent for a while. Mrs. aware of the playing cards tags that suddenly was in on the bottom of the desk. First and game in the Nemeki Zama the proposal and Akechi also agree. For while waiting for the bandits, began a strange card game. Terrible because what cannot wait an hour is, by virtue of playing cards, was carried out standing between not know about, even during the to the other side of the door, Kahana, the boundary between Akechi bedroom. But it is needless to say that had continued to distribute the shrewdly eye. If the window, if pirates of the bedroom from entering from the outside, this window did not occur, even any of abnormalities in was only one passage left. Let's already good. It is 12 o'clock after 5 minutes. Midori Kawa, his wife, that it will not be not toying such as other playing cards, and said, become frustrated facial expression. Yes. After you 5 minutes. Still am first and game is okay. While you are doing so, and everything without any 12 o'clock you will too. Akechi, while combined mixed the card, was Sasoi Kikish non-care. No, do not. You should not nasu, despise the thief. As I mentioned in earlier common room, I, and only to the bandits, promise to think will the like to protect trout. Surely, in now. Quote. Face of his wife had been unusually nervous. Lol, wife, I must not become so neurological. The thief is. You're right, and coming in from everywhere together. Mrs. The words of Akechi involuntarily raised his hand, pointed at the entrance of the door. Oh, in from that door, for your peace of mind of his wife, let's locked. Akechi is done standing, was an interference in the door with a key was entrusted from Iways said. Now, if this in breaking the door, nobody cannot be do near to Sane's bed, since to us the bedroom of you know I do not passages in addition to passing through this room. Then, Mrs. Such as the children were frightened to ghost story. Also raise your hand. Now is he pointing at the window of the bedroom that looked in blankly. Oh, over the ladder from that window. Thief courtyard, do you say? Even if climbing to that window. But you are properly latches applied to the door of that window. A good addition window glass even if there is things like incoming broke off. Because he can be seen at one in the eyes from here. In the case of emergency, just put in your eye the prowess of my shooting. Quote. Akechi is saying, it showed beating the diligently in right pocket. It had been allowed Hisoma a small pistol in there. Without knowing anything Mr. Sane is. It sa well your network hand. But I ways san. Will not I rashara and why happened? Like this in the case. It seems to non-mind a bit. Mrs. went to accept in the along and bedroom was the muttered-ish suspicious. It seems sleep is drunk every night sleep agent both of them. In the terrible notice like, so you have become a nervous breakdown. Oh, I do not have only one more minute. Akechi's what all right. Mrs. stood a Tonkyo voice rises. Even okay, is not that does not take place even this street everything. Akechi even involuntarily standing. The face of Mrs. You are strangely excitement. But peering curiously. But there are still 30 seconds. Midori Kawa Mrs. cried while looking back at Akechi in the fiery eye. Oh, woman thief is now. He is drunk with pleasure of victory. Turn the name Detective Kogoro Akechi on the other. He time has come to finally raise the kaiga. Wife, you so much wilt thou trust the skill of the thief. A kind of light had been lodged in the eye of Akechi. He's been agony as trying to solve the mystery of the solution hard to facial expressions of his wife. I wonder what beauty that might of this enigmatic is. Thinking what the hell, I wonder are so excitement. Yes, I will trust I might be so much fiction fantasies. But, at any moment the night of darkness, becoming crowded pilfering and from where along, that it would be going Katawakashi a beautiful daughter. And this mga no not help but seems to appear in the eye. Quote, Ufufufufufu, Akechi has had at last balloon. May leave his wife. See, in between you started to do a fictional story of meanwhile century. I watch I have only the other 12 o'clock. After all bets it was my win. Now, your jewelry would you like me? Lol. Akechi-san, do you really now I think you became your win the bet? Mrs. distorted Dokadoku Shiku the scarlet lips. Went deliberately slowly things. She moment of pleasure of victory. I forgot even the with lady seems manners. Well, then you. Akechi is realized sensitive to its meaning. To downright may unexpected fear. Change the quickened complexion. You are still. Whether Mr. Sane was not really Katawakasa. Do not yes is not be relied see even sure. Mrs. I say, as boasted wins. But, however, Mr. Sane, properly. Indeed the name of the detective was also flustered. Sorry to be. In his broad forehead, it was afloat to clammy Aberos. Properly will you say and have become good night to bed. But, Yukishira will not really Sane probably Yukishira. By chance someone entirely's another daughter of lying on fiasco. That be such a fool. Nevertheless strongly in the mouth. The evidence that Akechi had been threatened by the words of his wife. He is crowded shipping suddenly into the bedroom. Cause Lily I ways Mr. asleep. Do not what is. I somehow was weather. I ways said from the best. Because it was back to take the consciousness mid-fighting sleepiness. And it's moved Lily, causing the governor in the side of the body. Was asked in dismay. Please look at the young lady. The Irash Aru resting there. Certainly it must have miss? Is Akechi no-ish foolish question. I what you say of daughter. Who is lost there is a daughter. I ways his words. Had expired Putsuri. As he was something I have been staring at the back direction of the head of the Sane. Sane, quote. Voice that coughing of I ways Mr. Continued to call the name of the daughter. No reply. He left the bed, close to the tottering to Sane's bed. Tried to wake Lily over a hand on her shoulder. But, oh, heck this thing is what was. There are, indeed strange thing is. He did not have things that shoulder. I blankets had dented the pek kong and pressing. Akechi-san was done. From the mouth of Iway's old man was downright dumb roar as Hatabashi. Who is re-sleeping in there, or is not a daughter? Please look at this man is not it. Wasilla as I took to not also really flying shenanigans. When viewed by Chipping and Akechi and Midorikawa wife. Indeed, it was not the human. Had convinced only that it is Sane-san. It was only on the neck of one non-production of the doll. Well multiplied by the roots eye to the doll just that neck to see. Such as the clothing store of the show window. Was only to those covered with a wig of look-alike Yohatsu and Sane. In place of the body by rounding the shikibu and deform plausible. He blankets had been covered. Loud laughter of detective. Oh, the neck of the doll. What that would be deception that was missing Zuba. Do not trick of Kadoma Damashi that was eaten the people too. But, precisely because was a trick of Kadoma Damashi, we adults have been fairly full eaten. Also expected of Koguro Akechi. And it would be this much drastic childishness in criminal. I could not even imagine. Even so, what was who the so-called Dark Knight of Midorikawa wife? Kidnapped the Sane. The body instead of the usual pun who had left the neck of comic doll is. Or was an integral anyone. Readers gentlemen well know. And its Dark Knight was Midorikawa misses the person, none other. As Mark in the previous chapter. She is in disguise to Mr. Sane. Once entered into the bed. I leave reassured Iways said the guise of Emperor fell asleep. Now look at the time that the other party was fast asleep and the sleep aid spicy. Prepared in the neck of the doll to the scapegoat. It was back up to along with his room. When Shikomu bared Iways' room. A wrapping cloth wrapped bulky something. Embrace suffer half had it under his arm. Well the reader is also stored. It is magic of the species. Was the neck of the doll. Koguro Akechi is, in the long during the amateur detective life, was not so much that it was placed in miserable standing field. Even for Iways' trust, even for Kogan to Midorikawa wife, it was the plight used without the retraction. Moreover, the cause of the blunders is there the neck of the doll of Kadoma Damashi? Or not ashamed that cannot be ashamed Akechi-san. Anto to daughter had to ask. But this, I had been stolen this street. Must they have my back? Early, please arrange. If not inferior to Anto one of the force. but likely with the help of the police force. If there is nothing to rely than the other police. Please to make a phone call to the police. Or, I do let's over, quote, said show by ways. Much to forget the modesty of the gentleman of passion. I vomit even with rough words. No, please wait. Now that fuss now. You cannot catch the thief. Kidnapping was carried out in at least 2 hours earlier. Akechi in the energy of Shinny Monoguru keeping the finely calm, said with exerts of sharp head. In between that I have been a lookout in this room. It affirms that nothing had happened. Crime is not well thought of as was done before that telegram is delivered. That is the spirit of that telegram. Rather than a notice of crime. Look like already done the crime in the future happen things. We our attention until 12 was to keep gathered in this room. And thief is enough in between the it was a plan that tries to escape to a safe place. Quote, oh, ho 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 ho. I'm sorry. With laughing gone. Even Akechi, who is said to name detective, also 2 hours, and I think was Surashi has been the turn of the neck very hard in the doll. And Okashiku, quote, Midorikawa misses listening to discern unexpected poison opening also the place grounds. But she got now completely victory. It also failed to do with the joy that welled up in coming. Akechi is tied eating teeth. Replied to this ridicule. He was not the difference in the loser. But I do not think really is and that I had completely lost. I felt like there remained something ray of hope in the corner of the mind. He is to confirm it. Could not bring myself to give up this game. But in this way I was waiting, and my is also one daughter come home. I was said by one so frustrating in sympathy with no twaddle of Midorikawa wife. Went Tsukaka to Akechi. Mr. Akechi, I'll make a phone call to the police. No way I'm either than you say that it is dissatisfied. He did not wait to even reply. Went staggering toward the living room. Tried to take a desk phone. Then, just at that time, as also in like a conspiracy, sounded bell rings from the other party and Jiriri call. I was said while tut-tut in check. Reluctantly picked up the handset. Had yelled abusive also not exchange hands sin. Eventually, called the Akechi in tantrum voice. Mr. Akechi's phone to Anta. Akechi is in hear it? As even remember the forgotten something. As Hatcher. I flew to suddenly phone. Or phone was what the business but he had a hard comeback in the end. To be continued. Thank you for your viewing. If you like please subscribe to the channel. I am very encouraged.